So we have just arrived at our stealth camping spot for the night, and we're trying to get away from the road as quick as we can because definitely not supposed to be camping here. So it's been raining for a couple of hours and every day for the past 4 or 5 days. So it's extremely wet out here. We expect there to be a lot of places underwater, and we've never been out here before. So this is definitely going to be an adventure. Got plans for ramen noodles because we're definitely not going to be able to make a campfire with this kind of wetness, as well as again, I'm going to try to make some tea. I brought the pot this time and the stove, so I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. So come along with us and see how it goes. See if we can stay dry. We're basically walking through water here. It started raining pretty hard, so we had to quickly set up this little temporary shelter. This isn't a good spot to camp because we're still on the main trail. We want to move further in, but if it's raining like this, it's going to soak our blankets, and that's not going to be a fun time. So we decided to set up this little temporary shelter here, and we're going to sit the rain out and then maybe push further in depending on how long this lasts. So if we have to stay here, we won't be in a tent, that's for sure, because all we have is our hammock tent, so there's no space. But it's starting to come down more, so we're gonna sit tight and see what happens. Thanks for watching. The rain has stopped for now. We're moving further in to see if we can find a spot off the trail to set up and get an actual campsite going. So we found a spot to set up a more permanent shelter. It's not very far from the trail at all. You can very obviously see it from here. But these woods are pretty dense around here. We're gonna go explore some more to see if we can find a better spot, but like I said, woods are pretty dense, so getting anywhere far back in there, especially with how wet it is gonna be pretty tough. We're just hoping for no visitors. We're gonna go explore a little bit and see what we can find around here, and then when we get back, we'll set up our tents and maybe make some food. This is the only one of them on the entire tree. It's kind of crazy. Time to cook some dinner. This time I'll make sure that the stove is in the camera.
Oh,
apologies for my last video.
That's a good idea.
You got that torch lighter?
Yep.
Looks stable enough. That's definitely much more convenient than a Bic. Looks like we got it. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. This part of the video is brought to you by a flashlight as it's getting pretty dim. So, as I mentioned before, we did manage to find a spot for a decent overnight shelter where we can hang our hammocks. We'll be doing that here in a minute after we finish cooking dinner. A nice a cup of ramen noodles as well as some tea to go with it. It's cooling off a lot now. It's feeling pretty nice. The citronella candle is doing a decent job at keeping the mosquitoes away. They're definitely still here, but there's not much you can do about that, especially with how wet it's been lately. I'm pretty happy with how we're doing bug-wise, considering how wet it is. All right, we'll have some tea in a couple minutes here. The noodles look pretty good. I forgot to bring forks, so we're gonna be slurping them down, but it's still food. Can't wait. Looks like the tea's done. Probably still too hot to drink. I like it to be cooled off a little more, but that is gonna be delicious. I managed to get my tent set up in the dark using just flashlights, which is good because the bugs got much worse. You know, they were okay earlier, but suddenly they have just exploded. I don't know if it's because of the action we've been doing moving around here or what, but they're getting pretty bad, so we may have to get in here soon. The tea is definitely delicious. It's just before 7 in the morning, and we got woken up by a couple hikers walking by. We don't know if they saw us from the trail or if they even care, but there is a chance they'll report us to the phone number for violators of the camping rules. So we're packing up as quick as we can, and we're gonna roll out, hopefully before security comes by. We'll see what happens. We had a random visitor this morning. Oh, watch out for the rope, buddy. We're all done packing up. Like usual, our goal is to leave nothing behind and take nothing with us. It's a little too early still for our ride to be awake, so we are probably gonna have to hang out at the road for a few minutes, but that's better than being caught in the woods. We'll see. It's a beautiful morning for a hike out. Now that we're all packed up, ready to go, we're heading back towards the road. Nobody's responded about picking us up yet because it's still pretty early for them, but we'll figure something out when we get there. There's a hawk up there in the tree that keeps cawing at me. That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's the same hawk we saw on the way in. This must be his territory. Hopefully he doesn't mind us borrowing it for a night. We're sitting at the gate waiting for our ride. We had an excellent trip last night. Everything went extremely well, even though it was raining after we started hiking for a few minutes. We managed to stay dry. We cooked all the food we wanted to. I had some tea, finally, after several attempts. Got to sleep in the hammock tent. It was extremely comfortable. This was an adventure.
thanks for watching.